Okay, welcome to the three keys to successful online lead generation for local business. This presentation will be about how to use targeted online ads to increase your visibility, attract new customers, and stimulate growth specifically for your businesses that are working to attract customers on a local level. Thanks again for joining me. I'm James Alston from MemphisWebGuys.com. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. We will hustle through this and get you back to work. Okay, so far as terms of agenda, we are going to talk about why targeted display advertising can be a powerful growth tool for your local business. Number two, three keys to successful online lead generation using paid advertising. And number three, a summary of key takeaways. So let's go ahead and get started. Act one, why targeted display advertising can be a powerful growth tool for your local business. We're all obviously aware that we continue to become increasingly digital. Not only do we have computers and laptops that we can sit down and surf the web, visit sites, applications, but we can also do all those things on mobile devices, on phones, while we're walking around the street. It really is amazing how everything is becoming connected and everything is becoming mobile, which allows us to be connected all the time, for better or for worse. There are now 2.4 billion global internet users. Really, all of the first world countries, most of the second world countries, internet access is pretty pervasive. You just have particularly poor parts of the world where people still don't have as much infrastructure to access the internet. But that is changing quickly, and the numbers continue to rise dramatically. 1.1 billion global active Facebook users. That's a pretty amazing number. Almost half of the global internet users are also using Facebook. 30 million user generated Yelp reviews. And if you're not familiar with Yelp, it's a local site and it's a local focus site where people can share their reviews or their thoughts about local businesses, including yours. So I just share that to stress the fact that on a local level, customers are paying attention and they're interacting online and giving feedback about the businesses that they like to visit. 100 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. Just an amazing stat about how we're using our technology to interact with each other and to share information with each other. Again, the world becomes increasingly digital, and it does at an incredible pace. As that is happening, local consumers have turned to shopping online, which obviously impacts your business. 73% of people report that they do at least half of their shopping online now. That's pretty huge. 88% of consumers who search for local businesses call or visit within 24 hours. That's a really amazing statistic about the action that people are taking based off of what they are finding in their local markets. Mobile searchers are 51% more likely to make a purchase. Mobile searchers have a very high buyer intent. They are very focused, and when they search for something, they pull out their phones, they're looking for that specifically. Some interesting statistics about how, as we're getting more connected and as we're getting more mobile, people have more options to find information about your business or find information about products they're looking for online. To do that, no matter where they're at, no matter what time of day it is, to do that when they're standing inside your stores already. So people are doing product research while they're standing in there shopping. So the game of how to market and attract customers on a local basis has changed dramatically, and it is continuing to change dramatically as this continuing rush to connect everything digitally takes place. Because of all this, more and more ad impressions are coming from the time that is spent online. If you look at the statistics about people watching TV versus spending time online, you can see that there is starting to be this big shift to people spending time online. I mean, heck, my family doesn't even have a TV anymore in our house. We are constantly online, and we're streaming, and more people are doing this and shifting away from the television because they're just sick and sick of all these commercials that they're being hit with. So it used to be that we got the far majority of our advertising from watching television shows and watching the television live. And that is starting to shift to people getting their advertising through their computer screens and through their mobile devices. Obviously, we're all aware of the shift from print reading, newspaper reading that has taken place, and now people are getting their news from their digital devices, whether that's computers or their phones. Um, where the advertising used to take place, where it used to be completely dominant, is now shifting. We're seeing a lot of the ad impressions that people receive in their daily lives now happening online or on their digital devices in some way or another. So in 2012, there were 5.3 trillion ads served online in the US alone. That is an astonishing number. It's an increase of over 1 trillion ads since 2009. It's growing, and it's growing quite dramatically. In fact, maybe not a big surprise, online marketing, digital marketing, digital marketing is the fastest, or digital advertising, I should say, is the fastest growing segment of advertising by far and away. Most of the other major forms of advertising, television, radio, print, are either pretty flat or in some cases in decline. And it's only going to get more and more so in the future. I mean, I got the yellow pages came through our neighborhood the other day, and all these guys were throwing this plastic bag full of books on everybody's doorstep. And my wife and we opened up the door and looked at it, and we said, "Whoa, well, there's some good burning paper for us. I mean, we could care less." And we're wondering how much. I mean, it's got to be huge. How many people are not even paying attention to their yellow pages anymore at all when they've got Google in their pocket? So digital advertising is growing by leaps and bounds. That's my point. This is a very interesting statistic. 74.2% of consumers prefer to see ads from local businesses over national businesses. When they are getting these ads on their devices, on their computers, on their mobile phones, they prefer if it's something local. That's very intriguing and should be very important to you. They prefer that it's something that they're familiar with or something that they can get access to quickly. Local businesses have a real advantage in marketing to consumers digitally if they know how to take advantage of it. Because of all these factors, more local businesses are turning to online advertising for their growth and brand building. There are three big reasons why this is happening and why it's becoming more available to local businesses. This honestly was not always easy to do. To advertise online for smaller local businesses that don't have big dedicated marketing teams and don't have big advertising agencies working for them, it was just really hard for them to do. But I mean, just the complexity of doing it can be overwhelming. Still to this day, that's the case. It can be really hard for your typical restaurant owner, for your typical lawyer to just jump online and start doing digital advertising. I mean, you got hours and hours and hours of research and thought and trying something and messing up. I mean, it's just it's not that easy. It's still not that easy, but there are some factors that are driving more and more local advertising to happen effectively. So the first one is that there are new places to reach consumers, which is what we just talked about. You can now advertise on mobile devices, mobile phones, inside of applications on those devices. You can advertise on videos on YouTube. You can advertise on Facebook. You can advertise on just about every major national site or local site. There are more opportunities for you to target your market and more opportunities for you to just buy advertising that is affordable and available to you. A smaller local business in the past trying to go and maybe buy a TV spot or to buy a full page print ad in the newspaper are pretty difficult things to do, pretty expensive things to do, and just oftentimes they're just out of reach. You now have all kinds of additional options as to where you can reach your customers with advertising. That is bringing the costs and availability of advertising to local businesses. Second, number two is new ways of buying advertising. There's a process called RTB, or real-time bidding, and or real-time buying, that is now becoming very common, to a very common way to buy advertising digitally. Essentially, this allows you to bid in the exact moment on available ad space on sites around the web. If I owned a website and I had advertising inventory available on that website, and today at 1 p.m., I didn't have anybody who had bought my advertising space, I can sell that space in real time through these exchanges that they're called, where a local business could be sitting down and saying, I'll take whatever ad space I can get today on these sites and I'll pay this much for it. So they're setting the terms. So there becomes this very quick, real-time way of connecting advertising buying with advertising sellers. That speed of implementation, it makes the process so much faster. That speed of execution is making it much easier and also much more affordable for local businesses to buy advertising. So finally, more engaging ads. Media is becoming richer and richer. The way that we're able to advertise has become richer and richer. We can now advertise with video. We can advertise with all kinds of motion in our ads. That creates more responsive advertising. And obviously, more responsive advertising means a higher return on investment. That again makes it more accessible to local businesses, and maybe that or local businesses that maybe don't have the huge advertising budgets to burn unless they can see an immediate return on investment. These are three major trends that are driving advertising online for local businesses. So you see online ads everywhere you browse. Just to make sure we all know what we're talking about, you can't visit a site on the internet today without seeing ads. You can see here, circled in green over here on Yahoo, on TechCrunch here, you can see advertisements. Up here, advertisements. Over here, they're everywhere. Really, there are advertisements throughout these sites. Pretty much, like I said, everywhere you look. There are a number of different advertising vehicles, all different shapes, sizes, and costs that a business can now take advantage of. The availability of online advertising, the lower costs, targeting, all of these things are now leveling the playing field for smaller advertisers. You can now target the people that you want to see within a 15-mile zip code radius of your business. Many people think, well, how in the world could I afford to run an ad on Yahoo or CNN or ESPN? The technology has made it available now. It has made it possible that you can only show ads on that site to people within a 15-mile radius of your local business. You're not running these ads to everybody, nationwide on ESPN, Yahoo, and CNN. You're only showing these ads to people that are in your market. So they are showing different ads to different people in different markets all at the same time. Pretty amazing. You now have this ability to really hone in your targeting and make sure that you're not wasting dollars by spending money on advertising that's being shown to people outside of your market. We're here in Memphis, Tennessee with the Memphis Web Guys. So, I mean, if you're advertising for your local business here in Memphis to people in California, that's not going to be very effective, is it? No. Most local businesses do the far majority of business. of their business with customers within 15, 20 minutes, maybe at the most an hour of their business. Online advertising now allows you to target that way as well. Lower cost is leveling the playing field. Again, because there are so many more advertising options out there, you can now get advertising online at a much, much lower cost per thousand or CPM than you can for radio, television, print, or any of the other vehicles. You can find lower cost digital advertising. You can. Some interesting statistics here. 35% of people who have seen an ad will search for the business within 48 hours. It's impactful. These ads, particularly when locally targeted, are relevant and they're sticking inside people's heads. And people are taking what they're seeing and using that in their searches to then go on and find businesses and products that they're looking for. Finally, an easy to measure return on investment using analytics is making a more level playing field for smaller advertisers. Smaller advertisers used to be pretty out of luck when it came to being able to really truly know their return on investment on their ads and then make the appropriate adjustments on those ads. If you ran a full page ad in the newspaper, you weren't going to know the results of that ad for probably 30 days after you place that order. And especially after you wrote a very sizable check. Now, with online advertising, you can literally measure hour by hour, day by day, see what's happening, test different advertising formats, test different call to actions, test different images, test different offers, and see how those things impact the success of your ad. You can do that practically in real time, which is a total game changer for small businesses. Add all these things together, and smaller advertisers, local businesses, without huge advertising budgets, without huge advertising agencies, are still able or now are able to take advantage of very powerful advertising and compete head on with those bigger brands that do have the bigger national budgets. All right, let's move on to Act 2. Let's talk about the 3 keys for successful online lead generation using targeted display advertising. So I want to make sure I'm clear again. Display advertising is the type of ads where you see a banner out there on a website, as opposed to search advertising, where we're all probably familiar with. I mean, search advertising, where somebody types in a phrase into the search engine and then gets results back. And some of those results, usually at the very top, if you're used to looking at Google, there at the top, those results are ads. Search advertising, as powerful as it is, that accounts for about 8% of consumers. 8% of consumers' attention and time online. Display advertising is incredibly powerful because you're reaching that other 92%. That's why display advertising is so big. It's a much, much bigger advertising vehicle in terms of dollars spent than search advertising is. Let's talk about key number 1, which is you've got to create compelling ads. A display ad needs to grab your attention because this isn't somebody who has sat down and searched for your business or searched for your product. You have to grab their attention. Maybe they went to ESPN to read an article about their favorite football team. They weren't expecting to see your ad there. If you're going to draw their attention to that ad, then that ad has to be compelling. It has to grab your attention. I thought this one from Evian Water was pretty darn funny. It certainly an ad that's hard to completely ignore. You see a baby on roller skates, and definitely it's right there going to catch your attention. It's got a powerful image. It's got short, creative copy, and having to brand your and message accurately is definitely accurately represented. So as you can see here, Evian with this ad, they did a fantastic job of all these things. Very strong visual there. They've done a nice job of having their brand represented, and this message of live young. This message is obviously as if their product, their water, is going to help you feel good, to help you have a healthier life and live younger. They did a very nice job with this ad. Of course, Evian has the ability to spend lots and lots of money on pure branding ads. This is purely a branding ad. There's no call to action. There is no offer. Most local businesses like you, they're not going to do that. Most local businesses are going to have ads that have some sort of direct message calling you to do something, to get a discount, to take advantage of a deal, something like that, because they're looking for immediate return on investment. Evian here is more than happy to spend some money just to get some brand exposure and to continue to enhance this live young branding that they're developing. So you got to start by doing your homework. To create these compelling ads, you got to start by doing your homework. An ad that is compelling to one person is not going to be compelling to another person. You got to determine who it is that you're going after with your ad. You've got to, I mean, you really want to create an ad that is specifically targeted to one person, really, if you can. Obviously, you're not advertising to just one person, but you want to imagine who exactly is the person that you're going after. What are the demographics? What are the psychographics of that person? Am I going after a man or a woman? How old are they? What kind of money do they make? What kind of situation are they in their life? You want to tailor your ads to those specific people. One person is going to resonate with a certain message much more than another person. You really want to think it through. Who is it that I'm going after? Think through these target demographics. The best way to get that information, by the way, is to get it from your current customers. To find out who your current customers are and do a survey of them and determine who they are, where they live, how old they are, what their income is, what their interests are. Use those factors to then target your advertising and create your advertising. You want to look at what your competition is doing. Some of your competition is advertising out there very successfully already. You can learn some lessons from what they're doing. Just about every industry and every local business, there's always one or two players that seem to be really advertising and marketing more than the rest of the competition. And of course, they seem to be dominating that market. It's amazing. I mean, so many businesses and people that I've talked to, they're scared to advertise, but you see the people who are really dominating are the ones who take that risk, who go out, advertise, make sure that they're being proactive, and they end up dominating every time. It's always good to look at what these guys are doing. How are they doing that? How are they pulling it off? Of course, you don't want to just copy them. You, I mean, we need to make sure that we're developing our unique approach, leveraging what is working out there, but making sure that we're bringing something unique and that our brand and our message stands out from those guys, from the competition. Here's an example of a medical center that is doing exactly what we just described here. This is one medical center taking three different advertising approaches to target specific audiences. So you can see there they've done a very nice job of this. These are totally different audiences with totally different messages to make sure they're reaching different people. This is a sophisticated, smart approach by this medical center where obviously what they've done is that they've looked at their audience and said, okay, well, who are the different groups that make up our audience? How can we categorize them and create ads that are specifically targeted to each of them so that we're not just running one general ad to the entire marketplace. It's a very smart approach, and a similar approach should be taken by all businesses. You don't have one type of customer. You have all kinds of different types of people who are buying from you. It's a real risk that you just take all of them and take the average of who they are. Does that make sense? You can't just lump them all together and advertise to all of them all at once. People are not averages. As much as possible, you want to look at your distinct group of customers and target them distinctly. At the same time, you want to keep it pretty simple. You don't want to overcomplicate your approach to create compelling ads. Oftentimes, the most compelling ads are the ones that just very simply grab our attention and communicate the message. Here's a great example. I love this ad. This is from Wix. You can see here, it's just a smiling cow. It's pretty hard to ignore, very hard to not have some warm fuzzies when you see a big smiling cow staring at you like this. They have a very simple message directly targeted to who they're going after. It says, photographers, put your work in focus. Create your own amazing online portfolio. That's a pretty strong, simple message going directly after their target audience. Short, crisp copy usually works best. Usually people aren't going to sit and look at an ad and read paragraphs of information. That's not always the case. Advertising is easy to test, so we always recommend that people test like crazy, but usually it's the case that you want short and sweet, to the point. Easy to distinguish colors, fonts, and overall design, just keeping it nice, clean, and crisp. And like I said earlier, simpler is better. Having a strong call to action is usually very, very important for local marketers, excuse me, local marketers especially. The reason for that is that local marketers tend to be smaller businesses that don't have massive advertising budgets. So they want to see some sort of immediate impact or action come from their ads. Looking back at our Evian ad, that is a branding advertisement. Evian has massive budgets. They're willing to spend the money just to have their brand out there and remind people that they exist, and to try to make that message about their brand concrete in our minds. Most smaller local businesses don't have the ability to do that. So we're looking for something that will get action right now. That's called a call to action, or a CTA. That is the device, the tool that allows you to get somebody to take action on your ads so that you can see, hey, my ad is reaching people and people are responding to it. You want to be precise and clear about what you want the visitor to do. A big risk that you see is that advertisers will tend to sometimes be too wishy-washy in their call to action. You want to be very direct. You can see here on this ad, it just says, join now. This is a compelling ad, a nice image of a cool martini drink. It says, your work week is boring, your free time shouldn't be. Join now. It's a cool, compelling message. That call to action, join now, you're telling the visitor what to do. That's why you see on ads, you can see things like click here, click now, buy now. It's proven that those very direct messages are more effective. So don't leave it to chance. You want to tell your prospect what you want them to do. You also typically don't want to have more than one call to action. More than one call to action, um, that is not the martini in this ad. You probably don't want to have too many of those either. Having more than one call to action, you may think, oh, that's great. I'll give the prospect a choice. You can do this, and if you don't want this, then you can do this. But it's been proven time and time again that giving people a choice is actually generally a bad idea in advertising. Giving them one specific thing that you want them to do and telling them to do it is usually much more powerful. Again, always something to test, but that is a general rule of thumb. So bribe them when appropriate. Offer them something specific. I mean, ethical bribe. This one just says join now. That's appropriate for their branding. You can tell that they're trying to create an exclusive feel with this ad. They have some positioning going on about the cool factor here. They may not necessarily be trying to attract somebody by using a discount or some free offer. However, in lots and lots of local businesses, one of the most powerful things you can possibly do is give somebody a coupon, a gift certificate, a free offer, or something like that to get somebody to take action and come to your business right away, because that's what you want. You want people walking in your door. Right in this ad, this could be a join now and save 25%. It could be 2-for-1 drinks until this Friday. You know, this those call to actions, they're trying to get somebody to take action fast. There are a lot of things that you can do to bribe them to get them to take action. You have to determine if that is appropriate for your particular brand that you're putting out in the marketplace or not. So for most local businesses, it's a good idea to have some sort of specific bribe like that to further induce your prospect into taking action on your offer. Use your location if appropriate. You can target now based on location in your marketing online. Because of that, you can consider using your location in the actual ads to make them more compelling. An ad that starts with, copy, attention Memphis residents. If I'm a Memphis resident, that's going to resonate more with me than an ad that was just run nationwide. If it includes pictures or images from Memphis, I mean, this could go for any town or any place. We just happen to be here in Memphis. I mean, that's going to be more targeted and more relevant to me. People prefer to see local ads over non-local ads. Remember that I was saying at the beginning? They prefer that, and they connect with it. They feel more like, hey, these people, I'm connected with these people because they're right here near me. Now that you can target specifically, make sure that you're taking advantage of that in the actual ad construction, not just in the targeting, but in the actual ad construction itself, and when you're putting together everything that you're putting together for these display ads. So you can see here, somebody was advertising swiftcover.com. They're advertising on Facebook, and you can see that they have a target. They have targeted a specific town here, Marduk Drivers. You can see that they've included the name of the town on both the license plate on this image of the car, and as well as here in the headline, and as well as in the map. So they got Marduk all over the whole thing. So they've done a really good job of saying, if you're in Marduk, I'm coming after you. This ad is made specifically for you. So that's really powerful. Again, you can see a serious uptick in response on advertising campaigns when they are locally targeted like this. Next, use social proof in your ads. People love to see that other people are saying good things about your business. Just think about if you're considering going out to a restaurant. What's the first thing we do now when we're looking to go out to a restaurant? We hop onto one of the many number of review sites and look at what people are saying about this restaurant. This is the first time I'm going. I want to know if it's worth heading there versus all the other restaurants that I have a choice of. There's tons of them out there. Including powerful social proof, including powerful testimonials from existing customers, including the ratings, the star ratings that you have from Yelp, Google, Facebook, or whatever. It can be a very powerful way to communicate how people feel about your business. Showing pictures of real people at your business, so it's not just stock photography type stuff. People always, when you see stock photography, we always recognize it. We know that it's just stock. If you're showing real people, in your local business, that goes a long way in making those ads seem real, approachable. Just makes your business seem real because it is, and that's what you want to show people. You can see here that this here is a company called Man, I'm from the South. This here is a company called AdRoll, and AdRoll knew exactly how to scale our campaign and maximize our return. Jason Cohen, CEO of WordPress Engine. There you go. There's an example of just using that testimonial. Somebody real in their ad. That is social proof, and that goes a long way. That was key number one. All of that. So you've got to create compelling ads. Those were all tips to create compelling ads. If the ad is not compelling, and if it doesn't grab somebody's attention and get them to take action, then really your campaign is not going to be effective. This is key number two. And key number two is to target your ads precisely. We've already talked about this a number of times, but targeting is really it's what I think is the magic of doing digital advertising now. If I was running an ad in my local paper, it's going to be seen by everybody in my market that reads a local paper, regardless of whether that's the 85-year-old retiree or the college kid that's reading the newspaper for the first time as a part of the business class in their university. So those are totally different markets and totally different people. If I can't target using print like that, I know I'm wasting a good amount of my advertising dollars. You can target your ads online. You can target your online advertising in very specific ways, much more specific than you can with the newspaper. So there are four main buckets here. You can target by location, interests, intent, and by demographics. You combine all four of those things together and you have an amazing targeting capability to ensure, you want to make sure that your ads are being seen by the right people, by the absolute best prospects for your business. Let me give you an example. This is from inside of an advertising platform that we have. You can see here that we can target up to 3 of the following audience groups for your ad campaign. I want to show you demographics, interests, and intent to give you some examples. You can see here under demographics, I can target all kinds of different age groups, business professionals, high income, Hispanics, homeowners, IT professionals, low income, married, men, moms, parents, pet owners, renters, singles, small business owners, suburban, urban, well educated, women. I have to imagine that every single one of you can look at this list and go, wow. Yeah, I can see somewhere in that list my target audience that I should be going after. Now look over here at the interests in the middle. Um, arts and entertainment enthusiasts, automotive enthusiasts, beauty and spa, charitable donors, college sports fans, eco-friendly, food lovers, furniture shoppers, gamers, movers, news readers, outdoor enthusiasts, photographers, political junkies, shoppers, sports fans, techies, travelers, and weight loss. I'm sure that you can see how how you can target your advertising to reach a really specific audience that's going to be a good fit for you. Over here on intent, based on the sites on the very last row, based on the sites that people are visiting, we can know, are they looking for auto insurance? Are they looking for banking services, education, financial services, health and medicine? You typically are not going to visit an auto insurance site unless you are looking for auto insurance. The same with life insurance or tax advisory services. You can combine these three things, you can combine all three of these things, demographics, interest, and intent. And then you target all of those on a local basis within 15 miles of your business. Tell me that isn't specific and hugely powerful. So I think you can see how powerful advertising digitally can become. It really is amazing the degree of targeting that you can do to hone in your ads and make sure that you're spending money on the exact audience that you're going after. Just an example, if I was a local auto dealer, I have my cool red sports car on the left and my minivan on the right. The one on the left may be more appropriate for John, the 30-something bachelor, versus the one on the right for Jane, the mother of 3. If I'm running ads to a big, broad marketplace without thinking through my targeting, I'm missing out on the opportunity to show my ad to the right person, and I have a really refined advertising spend ensuring that my ads are being seen by the right person. Hope that makes sense to you. Next is the measure results. Again, I talked to you about how everything online is measurable. The analytics associated with online advertising are now just absolutely fantastic. They are almost completely real time at this point. You can make changes and see what things are working and what things aren't as they're happening. You want to make sure that you have effective analytics set up on all of your campaigns. You want to run before and after reports anytime you make a change that you can that you can see clearly what that change caused. Does that make sense? So then you can draw insights from these reports and shift your targeting accordingly, depending on how much you're spending and how big of an audience you're going after. This could be something that you're looking at weekly, monthly, or for major advertisers, spending a good amount of money, they'll look at these things daily. Um, I have a business that I've worked with. It's a plumbing company that does amazing advertising in the local marketing, in the local market. They're dominating the local marketing because of it. They are literally looking at their advertising on an hour by hour basis and making shifts in their ads based on where they have available plumbers. That is awesome. If they have available plumbers further north because they haven't been booked up, then they'll run more of the ads on the north side of the market. It's amazing what you can do if you take the time to look at the data, to don't just be overwhelmed with it in the first and just dismiss it. Look at it, take it in, make sure you understand it, and adjust your advertising approach based on that data. All right, that's targeting. Now, key number 3 is to now follow your prospects online. What I mean by that is a relatively new advertising vehicle that I'm just totally excited about. It's called retargeting. And what retargeting does is it shows your ads to users who have previously visited your site. That's really key to understand. The normal display advertising, let's say, I'm placing an ad on ESPN, but targeted to my local market. I'm obviously trying to I'm obviously trying to target sports enthusiasts in my local market, and I'm hoping that my ad will catch the attention of somebody new that I've never had any sort of conversation with before, that I've never presented my products or services to before, and I'm pulling them into my world with a compelling ad. Retargeting, on the other hand, says at some point or another, you were able to get this person to your site. If they came to your site, then that means that there was a degree of interest. That makes that prospect now highly desirable to keep targeting. Does that make sense? So obviously, if they showed some sort of interest in the first place, they're a much more desirable prospect than just the general population of people who have not yet expressed any interest at all. What retargeting allows you to do is to target those specific people. You can see in this diagram, you know, up here, somebody surfs the web and then they come to your site right here. After they've seen an ad, they come to your site, but then they leave and they have not yet bought a product or service from you. Then they go back to visit CNN later that day. They are now going to see your ad on CNN and ideally then have a much higher chance of being brought back to your site. As you can imagine, if this morning you're poking around and decide to check out a site and you're looking at a product and you say, you know, whatever kind of product it is, it's a diamond necklace at a jeweler in town, and then you leave that site. Later on that day, you're visiting CNN and you see the ad for that jeweler. You're obviously going to think, wow, that's pretty wild. I looked at them earlier today and now I'm seeing them again. You have probably noticed this in your web searching experience, and you may have thought about it quickly, subconsciously. Um, it's pretty amazing when it happens. You probably noticed, that now you see ads for companies that you visited over and over again. That is what retargeting is, and you can do it with a local focus, and it's awesome. That advertiser is being smart. That one that's retargeting. He says, if you showed up my ad once, you're more than likely willing to come back, and you have more interest than just the general population. So I'm going to spend more money trying to target you. That's retargeting, a very powerful way of continuing to show your ads to the best prospects. You can see here's an ad for Injured in the Game, Center for Orthopedics. You can see two ads. It's on CNBC, First in Business Worldwide. This is a local center for orthopedics in the 207 area code. I can tell you for sure it's not that somebody is advertising generally on CNBC nationwide. They are retargeting somebody in a local market that has been to their site recently. That's an example of retargeting. The amazing things about retargeting, really cool things. One, you're getting repeat impressions to your most interested prospects. Somebody came and visited your site, they're interested. Now you're going to hit them over and over again with the increased impressions. Number two is that you have this ability to build a list to advertise. What does that mean? There's a rule in building businesses that says you should always develop your customer list and your prospect list. The business that has the biggest list of buyers is in the most powerful situation because they can now market to that list of buyers and get them coming back over and over again. One of the major catastrophes, disasters of many smaller local businesses is that they don't actually build and nurture their list of prospects and customers. You want to capture all the data that you possibly can so that you can market to these people that are interested or have previously bought from you over and over again. That gives you a powerful edge over your competition. In a lot of cases, that's the only real asset that a business builds. It's that list. I'm sure you have collected direct mail lists. People come in and you collect their address so that you can send them direct mail. You may have collected their phone number so that you can call them. You know, you can collect their email addresses so you can send email to them. Those are examples. They're all lists. Retargeting is another form of lists. I can essentially build a list of people who have visited my specific site within my retargeting advertising platform. Now I can see this list of all the people who have ever been on my site, and I can run ads specifically just to them. This is a very, very powerful asset, and all of this leads to a high return on investment. You will see a massive return on your investment when you're doing retargeting to people who have already expressed interest or have already bought you or bought from you in the past. All right, let's go to Act 3. Let's do a summary of the key takeaways. I'll wrap it up with a quote. One of my favorite quotes regarding advertising. Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell, and advertise. I know a couple of people get credit for that. I first heard it from Ted Turner, a famous businessman and founder of CNN. That was one of his personal mottos. I believe it's a very valuable one to consider. When we look around at any local market, at any industry, there tends to be one or two businesses that in that local market, they are totally dominating their industry. It's no surprise that they tend to be the heaviest advertisers, the heaviest marketers as well. In terms of how to make that advertising most effective, what we covered today, be memorable, be compelling, grab attention, target your ads. We talked about the 4 factors that you can target: location, demographics, interests, and intent. Leverage all 4 of those to target your ads as specifically as possible. Have a strong call to action. Direct people specifically as to what you want them to do. Don't leave it to chance. Tell them what action you want them to take now that they've seen your ad. Measure and adjust. Online advertising gives you incredible ability to analyze, to capture data, to take that data and to make smart decisions based upon it. And then retarget your best prospects. Follow those people around, and the people who have come to your site, the people who have come to your business, those are the ones that you want to make sure that you're giving the most attention possible. Absolutely take advantage of retargeting. Build that list, build that asset so that you can get the highest bang for your buck from your advertising dollars. That's it. I appreciate your time and attention. I hope that you got some good takeaways from this presentation. I hope that if nothing else, it opened your eyes to some of the capabilities that online advertising presents to the local business advertiser. I think that what I find in my conversations with our clients is that most local businesses just are not even aware of the capabilities that exist for local advertisers and how that can impact their ability to do, really compelling, targeted, and affordable advertising in their local market. I hope that again your eyes were open. I hope that you got some good tips on how to advertise more effectively for your local business. And I want to throw it out there, no hard sales pitch here, but I want to throw it out there that we're here to help you if you'd like to get in touch. This is what we do for clients. We help our clients take advantage of the power of online advertising, specifically in their local markets, taking advantage of all those neat capabilities that are out there to create the highest bang for your buck in advertising. So whether you're advertising in print today, the yellow pages, direct mail, radio, television, I'm almost 100% sure that we can create advertising campaigns for you online that will add a positive return on your investment to your advertising dollars that you're currently spending. So if you're not currently advertising your business at all or not advertising your local market, whether you're just getting started or advertising has just not been something that you've done in your business in the past, now is a fantastic time to get started. There are more options available to you than ever, which can create some really, really great results. So if you'd like some help, please do get in touch. We'd love to spend, half an hour with you talking through what it is that your goals are, what your objectives are, what business that you're in. We want to get an understanding of that, see if we might be able to help you out. You can call us directly at 901-451-9508, or you can visit our website at memphiswebguys.com. We are here local in Memphis, Tennessee, but we can help your business in whatever local market you're in. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks very much again for your time and attention. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.